You're stoked?
Hella.
Stoked?
Yeah.
All right, Mitch. Welcome to the studio corner.
Hey.
What's your full name?
Mitchell Paul Donnelly.
MPD.
MPD. Yes, sir.
Wow, profound. Very professional.
Yes.
We're sitting here drinking Metallica's whiskey, blackened whiskey at the moment. Any whiskey connoisseurs, if they saw our table right now, they'd be pretty happy.
They probably would be.
We have a table full of whiskey that we're going to sip on throughout this. I'm glad I have someone that I can do this with, too.
Oh, yeah, dude. You need someone in your life who you can
Drink whiskey with?
talk about whiskey with, yeah. I love it. I love it.
So, your musical name is Motzaik Music.
Just Motzaik.
Just Motzaik.
There's this random, I think he's like, I don't know. He looks like he's from like the Philippines or something.
Okay.
And he's always had the name Motzaik. He has 0 followers, 0 posts, and he's following 0 people. And it's just like the picture of this like guy's face. And I'm just like, I've tried to reach out to him. I've tried to get his Instagram banned. I've tried everything.
So he just took the name and said, fuck it, I'm out. Didn't do anything with it.
He doesn't, yeah, it's like, I don't know what it means to him. He's never responded to me. You know, I don't know.
You think he's ever logged in?
I think he's logged in maybe once because I think his picture came down, so he probably like took off his old picture or something. But he's still no activity.
What?
Like it's a dead Instagram, and I can't have the name.
Jesus. That's brutal. That sucks. Usually it's like someone that you can, if they have like, 10 followers, you can contact them.
You could be like, hey, I'll even give you some money. Like,
it's almost worse that he doesn't have any followers. It's just like insult to injury.
Yeah, it's painful. And I tried to hack into it. I tried everything, man. And then I realized I'm like stupid and can't hack into shit. You know?
You're like, wait a minute. This is not my forte.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So what is Motzaik? Where does it come from?
Okay, so, well, Mozart and mosaic.
Okay.
So a mosaic would be lots of tiles put together to create a picture. And that's kind of how it's just the concept that I'm going for, the overarching story of my career. And it's still infantile, so I haven't put it together yet, but I've been playing with the idea for a really, really long time. And I'm just trying to, it's how I feel. It's how I feel. It's how I felt on drugs before.
Okay.
Like a mosaic. And
what drugs?
What drugs?
Well, like, you like feeling like a mosaic. It's a pretty specific feeling, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, like acid.
Okay, that makes sense. Just straight up acid, a mix of anything?
Oh, mushrooms.
And acid at the same time?
That was probably the best trip I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it was phenomenal. I'll never do acid again because it, like, broke me and I had to, like, build my life again. But this one mushroom and acid trip together was with me and, like, 5 or 6 friends up in Berkeley. And it was so flowy and also, like, just it was the greatest. You know, if you're a kind of person who can handle that kind of thing, I highly recommend it.
I've never tried any sort of psychedelics.
I'd recommend most people tried mushrooms because they're safe.
They won't change your life mentally forever.
No, you come back.
You come back. That's a great way to put it. I love that.
I never came back from acid.
I've heard that story one too many times. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The acid, like, oh, acid broke me, or I'd never been the same since acid.
Yeah.
I had a buddy tell me just like a week ago, we were hanging out in the studio, and I don't even know how we got on the topic, but he said, I'm not going to say who, but a close person to him in his life was actually off the rails and clinically diagnosed, who was once a very, very intelligent human being, very, very, put together human being.
Diagnosed with what?
Just clinically insane.
Oh,
just
okay.
Unable to think straight. Like, it wasn't clinically insane. It was
like he was schizophrenic. Or?
It was like 5 different things she fell under the category of,
okay.
from like bipolar to schizophrenic.
She's just all over the fucking
and
place.
It's purely from microdosing the wrong way with acid.
Oh,
like that's nuts, right?
I couldn't tell you the right way.
Yeah, I mean they're working on it right now. The Denver and the mushrooms microdosing, like that's cool.
I've done a bit of that, the microdosing.
Yeah, I mean I've heard with mushrooms it's a little different, but acid, it's like I've never heard anyone say they took acid and it was like, yeah, it was cool. It's usually like, oh my god, it changed my life.
It was like either the best or the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Sorry, little drug rant there.
Yeah, well, that's where so many of us start our lives.
Damn, I smoked my first joint when I was 12 years old, but I didn't really steer anywhere off from weed.
I smoked me and my friend made a bong when we were like 12 or 13.
Out of what?
Out of a water bottle, a pen cap, a thing, to hold the weed, and like a piece of gum to like seal up the pen cap in the water bottle.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean we were such idiots though.
How industrious.
It wasn't like weed; it was just stems. So my first time smoking weed was just smoking stems. So we thought we were high, but we were idiots.
Nice. Really good time. Really great stuff.
Yeah. And then I remember the first time I actually got high was like in junior year of high school, and I was like, oh, that's great.
Didn't we smoke together multiple times, didn't we? Did we ever smoke together when I was a teenager?
I don't know if we did.
We did a lot of weird shit, but...
Because, like, I remember a lot of you when you were, like, 15. And
when I was cool?
No. Yeah, fuck you.
Hey, man, I was a cool 15-year-old.
Yeah.
I had long hair, I played guitar, hung out with the older kids, did drugs.
I wasn't doing drugs, so I don't even know. I was smoking weed.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew Sean Lubin, didn't you?
He was our drug dealer.
Yeah, he was...
He was everyone's drug dealer.
Yeah, that poor guy.
Anyway,
let's talk about music.
All right, so I have a whole list of things to ask you.
Shit. Cool.
I really like your beads, by the way. Those are cool.
Thank you.
Fucking hippie and like badass at the same time.
Yeah, I got these ones in 2011, and then I got these ones this year because I was like, these ones are lonely.
Oh, yeah. More beads the better.
Yeah.
A lot of people will agree with that statement.
One day I'll get another one when it's time.
So you're a rapper.
Yes, sir.
Would you classify yourself as a rapper above all other titles?
No.
What would you classify yourself as?
A musician, an artist, because I do all kinds of art. Primarily a musician.
Okay.
I produce just as much as I rap.
You produce mostly hip-hop stuff, though?
Yeah. It's usually, because it's like I want something to rap to. So I'm like, I have to make something.
You make your own tracks, basically. You make your own.
Yeah, I make all my own shit.
Which I think is like something that's totally been lost in the rap world and the hip-hop world. Like if you go back, like the guys that started the rap game, the guys that really came up big and made a big difference, they had such a huge hand in their own tracks and like, the sound. I feel like it really like just drove so hard. And then I feel like there was just a huge drop off of like good tracks.
Yeah, well, producers really blew up in the last 10 years. Like,
oh yeah. It's like entrepreneurs.
There's always been rappers and producers.
Yeah.
I mean, in the hip hop world, a producer in a different genre of music is different than, because in the hip hop world, a producer is the guy who pretty much makes the.
Just a little bit. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In the hip hop world, the producer is pretty much the guy who makes the beat. He's like pretty much making the song, and then the rapper comes and does what he does over it. And the producer and rapper work together to create a song.
Yeah.
Wherein, like other forms, I don't even really know what the producer does, because he's like, the producer isn't making songs for a rock band. It's like the producer's the other half of like every rapper's band.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different. It feels like it's a completely different job, in the hip hop rap world.
Yeah,
and you're your own producer.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are doing it now again too. I think I'm seeing a lot of people, because it's so easy now to do it, where you can just like, you have a computer or one piece of gear and you just fucking type in notes and it's like, oh, look at that, a song.
Yeah,
So it's gotten really easy to make your own music.
Which is good and bad, I think.
I think it's mostly good.
It's mostly good because I think it's important, especially in the rap world. It's so important for rappers or even hip hop artists, because producing is like the second half. It's not just enhancing. It's like literally writing your song. Like, you have to be able to do that. You have to know what sound you want, but also it's giving people that have no talent and no time spent. No time spent studying or working, practicing to, release a ton of stuff.
Sure.
But that's everything, I guess.
But like, I mean, how are they going to get that time in? It's like you got to have experience to work a Starbucks job or something.
Yeah.
Like, but also I think it's a good thing because I heard someone else say this and it made a lot of sense to me. It's like, if somebody who doesn't have access to all the great shit and they're not a professional musician, but they make something fucking killer, Yeah. Even if it doesn't have to be technically good, but if it feels right and you fucking put that on the internet and it blows up, it's like, well, that kid just fucked all y'all up,
Yeah.
Like, with no experience, because he had this thing in him.
Yeah.
So, or her, or whoever,
Well, I mean, that's like a talent, something that's already there, something that's like a necessity. Like, you want something. There's something so big inside of you. It's like, it doesn't matter how.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Or he said.
Or he said.
Yeah, whatever. That's what she said.
Yeah.
But like the ability to have that in you and find any sort of source, no matter how like you said, maybe it's one piece of gear and whatnot. And yes, there's definitely those situations that people find their own voice and find a way to reach the world with what they're feeling, and they could totally blow up and say fuck you to all the industry and this and that, which I love seeing that.
Like Mac Miller.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, Mac Miller had
totally on his own.
First time I saw him, he had like 40 million views, like on the first video I watched of his, and that was like 10 years ago or something like that. And I'm like, who is this guy? And he never was in the mainstream.
Yeah,
like, we all know who he is, but he was never in the mainstream. And it's just, I mean, I guess he did dip in, but I've never heard a song on the radio,
Well, I mean, was that Thrift Shop?
No, that was Macklemore.
Who'd you say?
Mac Miller.
Mac Miller. Oh my God, Mac Miller.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the wrong guy. Dude, I was like junior, half a senior year. Right there for me. That was like everybody and their fucking sister was listening to this dude, and no one was like, oh, have you heard of Mac Miller? Like, oh, no, who is it? He's this new cool rapper. Like, you got to check him out. And sure enough, like, if I pulled up playlists from fucking, how old was I? I mean, those 2011 and 2012, I pulled up playlists, you would find Mac Miller almost on almost every single one of them.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, I loved him. Totally thought I was thinking of Macklemore over here. I was like, I don't know if I was like, he was pretty sure he was mainstream.
No, Macklemore's mainstream. I think he has the credit of, like, putting his own money up on it.
Sure.
And kind of being more independent, but he's definitely mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mac Miller, man. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Damn.
He passed away last year.
Yeah, I remember. That was.
It's fucking sad. Man.
I mean, it was horribly, horribly sad. But I think it's really something to be around to see the other artists speak about someone that was so prominent and so present. It's not like people are talking about what Jimmy Page did in the 70s. It's like, this guy was young, he died, it's awful, but to see all these massive artists that are so prominent still and like still present in the game, and the posts and the way they spoke about him, I was like, damn. Here's this guy that came out of nowhere, stayed subtle no matter how big he got, and just impacted every fucking person he came across. There's so much talent. So badass.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. So speaking of the ability to, anyone can, one piece of gear with a computer, anyone can release their stuff. What does it mean to you to have a voice musically? Like, when people release that, like, everyone has their own quote unquote voice.
Oh.
So for
like,
you,
what does it mean to have a voice?
Yeah, like how would you describe that? How would you even define, like, what is a musical voice?
Well, like, are you talking about, like,
not their actual voice, but like, what's their message? What's
their message. I was thinking, because like, there's a voice you have to develop your, like, actual voice.
No, that's singing lessons, but like your voice. What everyone wants to, like, I want my voice to be heard. I want my opinion to be heard. That kind of thing.
I don't know if I've ever thought about it that way. Like, I've definitely been angry because I wasn't being heard.
Yeah, but you see, like, because that's, I mean, I feel like everyone totally, I mean, most musicians, I think I can comfortably say most musicians feel that, you know, I'm pissed off because I'm not being heard. But, like, what if you were heard? What would you say? Like, what is that voice that you're trying to get out? Was it you're trying to say?
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to be an animal. I would love, a dream of mine is to look out over a crowd one day and, like, I don't want any of them looking at me. I want them to be, like, having sex.
Damn. Animalistic, huh?
Yeah, like my last album, my most recent one that I just released, I've been aiming at this sound for, like, all of last year. I was aiming at, and this definitely ties into that question of a voice.
Go for it.
I was aiming at this sound, because the sound is my voice, of, like, 1950s movies where, like, what Hollywood thought the jungle sounded like, you know?
Yeah.
Back then, I love that. I love the way that sounds. I think it's fucking awesome. So, like, there's one song on the album where, like, I really fucking nailed that.
What's the name of the song?
Dark Out.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I listened to your album. I was like, there's some moments in that album I was like, damn, hearing this actually makes a lot of sense for me after listening to it.
Yeah.
Field Dress, right? The whole, is it a...
Yeah.
That's...
It's funny because I went with Field Dress because it's almost running in two different ways, because, like, I was going for a jungle sound, but I went into more of a forest theme.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you draw the line on that, but...
You're just trying to set a mood. Someone's got to feel like they're somewhere.
Yeah, I wanted it to be, like, super fluid and make sense. I just wanted it to make sense and be as good as I could make it. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty incredible for the fact that you did it on your own. Plus, I'm honestly, I mean, I'm not a rapper myself. I listen to rap. I have, my opinions. I wouldn't say I'm extremely knowledgeable on the subject as I am on guitar. I mean, I've been playing guitar my whole life, but I do know a lot of things that I do really, really like, and a lot of things that I really, really don't like in the rap world. And when I listened to your album, I really appreciated it because the articulation, the word choices, even the enunciation, like, something, take Eminem, for example, something that he mastered, which is, like, I think people don't realize why he's so able to get under your skin, is because he'll take a word and he'll enunciate random syllables of it. Mm-hmm. And it'll change the meaning of the word completely, the way it makes you feel. And you had a lot of that, like, enunciation on the right parts, and I was like, oh, feels good. I love that shit when I listen to rap. Like, I'm listening to rap because I want to hear what someone has to say. It's a very, for me, it's a very message-based thing. It's so up front. It's got this track, this beat. It puts your body right where it needs to be so you can hear what this person's trying to say. And I feel like you really hit the nail on the head with that one.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
For me, the rap is, like, it's kind of three different things. There's a message, a feeling, and as a rapper, like, and a message, a feeling, and a flow. For me. And I find myself, focusing on one of those three things typically, and, combining them as I please, obviously. Yeah. But, when I started, it was all about rhyming and flow when I first started, because my favorite hip hop when I was a kid was Biggie.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, man. And I studied the fuck out of Ready to Die. That was my favorite album ever. I could probably, like, rap the whole thing. But yeah, so it was all about rhyming for me and getting the most, like, layered and complex rhymes I could. And then I stepped away from that. Probably took 5 years to step away from that. And I'd get into, more flow-based stuff. And then sometimes I didn't even care what it sounded like as long as I was getting the message across.
So you could just be straight up talking if you wanted.
Like the Dark Out song. It's almost spoken word, the way I performed it. And, like, I wouldn't call the album even a rap album. There's rap songs on it, but it's not, it's not like...
It's a musical piece.
It's not like you pop in a Biggie album and it's hip-hop from start to finish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's... So, all right, that's interesting to me because for you... how would you classify something as rap then? Like, what is it that makes something a rap song, a rap album, you know?
If you are it.
If you are it.
Yeah.
What do you, explain that to me.
Like if you hip hop, you know if someone ain't.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I know what you mean, but I almost want like
if you
either know, you either are you or you're not.
Are you safe to call you a metalhead?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, I listen to a lot of metal. I love metal, but sure.
Like, you know, if you're talking to someone, you know if they're into metal or not. You know if they're about it.
Okay. So in order to be a rap artist, to make a rap album, you have to like have that credential in a sense. Unspoken credential.
I can't put any rules on it.
Well, see, because that's
for me, yeah.
It's for you.
Yeah,
so like
someone
someone could literally release a song that has a heavy beat, you know, like that beat flows perfectly. They're trying to get something across and they're rapping it. But if it feels like they're talking about some fake shit, it's not rap.
I mean, it's still rap. It's not hip hop.
It's not hip hop. So what's the difference for you there?
Feeling.
You
can rap all day.
Anybody can rap.
Everybody can rap. But there's this country rap hip hop stuff happening that I heard. I don't know where it's from. I don't know who the artists are. I refuse to listen to it. I've heard like bits of it, and it's like, nope. No, y'all are fucking up. Like, I'm okay with like crossing genres,
collaborating,
all day,
sure, but
it sounds like some like modern age mainstream country with this guy rapping about his beer in his truck. Like, it's just a fucking country song, but he's rapping, and I'm like, no, fuck off.
So I like that you said that, because something, I'm glad I have you to talk about this too. Something that for me, rap, I may not, you know, whether I'm a huge fan or not, or whether anybody's a huge fan or not, rap is so specific to me. I think rap came from a reality. Very much like classic rock was the revolution, right? Like everyone was speaking up against the government and, you know, freedom and hippies and all that. There's so much of that. Rap came from like these ghettos or these people that had such a hard reality that they basically said like, we can't change it right now. We don't have the ability. What we can do is express ourselves. And if we're going to express ourselves, we're going to do it as raw as our life is. And that's why rap was powerful. I mean, they could be talking about guns, money, and killing each other all fucking day. But it wasn't the fact that they were talking about it because it was cool. It was a fucking expression of their reality. Mm-hmm. Like for me, that's where rap drew its power from, and like it praised the acceptance of life.
Oh, that's a cool way to look at it.
And that is so far gone, in my opinion, for so much rap today. I think it's so far gone. I think the people that are living a certain reality, before they talk about their own reality, they're immediately jumping to the bling and to the image and rapping about who they are, because that's what everyone did before them. And that makes them big, and it works.
I know, but if you go back to like 1977,
yeah,
you know, like they're still rapping about their Cadillac.
Yeah, you know? For sure. Like, absolutely.
Like, everybody loves their nice shit. You know?
And, you know, maybe I don't have the right words to put it, you know, but I definitely feel like a disconnect from the fact that, you know, rap is such an expression. Like, for example, Eminem is going to be my example probably for the day, just because I think he's one of the greatest lyricists of all time. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Even like he's one of those people that's accepted his, you know, riches and fame and all that stuff, and he still finds a reality. He praises what his reality is through his rap. And that is so important in rap for me, because when I listen to rap, it's about that message. It's about someone stepping up, because, you know, there's a reason you chose that genre, right? There's a reason you chose that feeling.
Yeah, I don't know why I chose. Like, you don't choose it, you know? You don't, like, you don't choose what you love. Like, you love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you don't, it's not like I'm going to love that girl. It's like, no, you're not. You don't know her. You know,
well,
nothing about nothing about this is natural. Like, it's got to be natural. So yeah, man, I don't know what to say about it. I fucking love hip hop. It's the thing, you know, and I love hip hop for so many fucking reasons. One of them is because it's all the genres. It can be any genre of music, because you can sample from any fucking place in the world and put it into hip hop.
They totally started that.
It's
fucking
the best. It's the fucking best.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me my freedom when I'm making music, is because I can fucking play any instrument I want with any fucking style or sound that I want, sample it, cut it up, or just play a line or something and fucking record it, put a beat on it, and fucking rap or sing or whatever, and it's fucking hip hop.
So, with that being said, then what's wrong with the country people, meshing with the rap people?
It's not hip hop. I don't have a good way to explain this, man.
But see, that seems totally hypocritical to me, though. Like, I totally get the feeling, like what you're talking about. Like, you can do that. You can take anything from anything and make a hip hop song and be about it. But like, are they not doing the same thing?
I'm not saying there's not bad versions of that.
Okay, that's okay. No, I'm happy you said that. I'm happy you said that.
There's good and like I make bad songs too.
So you're just saying this, for you, in your opinion, the sound of country and rap just doesn't work for you?
No, not even that. Like I definitely could do some country and rap, but just how I've heard it so far just doesn't.
It needs to be executed correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a really interesting way to look at it too. The way you talked about it, the fact that you can take any style of music and somehow turn it into something you can turn into hip hop. Sample things. That's wild.
That's great.
I think it's fucking incredible. It's like, I mean, what did EDM do? How did EDM, like, and all the same shit? They have their, like, they started making their own sounds, but all those samples, all those things that, like, suddenly come in for, like, 2 seconds. That's why you remember that song, right?
Yeah. I didn't know anything about EDM, and I still really don't, but I have a friend who really is into making EDM, and what I realized is, like, none of it's electronic. Like, we're all making our own sounds, chopping them up and turning them into dance music, and we call it EDM because we like tweak with it a bit.
Yeah.
But like it's not like I wouldn't call it like it's 99% of the sounds did not come from a computer.
Yeah.
We're just everything's natural or on an analog piece of equipment, and
or a real synthesizer where the sound is made.
Fucking awesome.
I had these 2 cats on last week. I think No Etiquette Music. They were awesome. Total like hardcore. What do they call it? Mid-tempo electronic music. I really like the stuff. It's fucking badass. It's heavy to me. But they're one of those 2 guys that make their own sounds. Like, they sit there and they fucking make their own sounds. Like, that right there is the most raw form of creating sound. It's insane.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
I know. Okay, so Moog just came out last year with this synthesizer called the Moog 1. Yes, sir.
I'm drinking some Macallan now.
Macallan. Indeed.
Go ahead, the Moog.
The Moog 1. I have a Sub 37, which I got last year, and it's a fucking... I mean, it's so sexy. It's so sexy it hurts, And you look at it and you're like, oh, there's fucking gear porn, basically. But one day, I will sadly sell it and upgrade to the Moog 1, which is a polyphonic synthesizer. I think it's got 16 voices. So you can, like... Most Moog synthesizers are monophonic, which means you can only play 1 note at a time or 1 note per oscillator, and it'll have like 2 oscillators, so you can play 2 notes at a time at max.
Okay.
Oscillators? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, oscillator.
But, polyphonic synthesizers have just lots of voices per oscillator, I think. I don't know how the hardware works really, but I like using it. But the Moog 1 is just like the most... I mean, it's so expensive, but it's just beautiful. It sounds like a Moog, but it's like 16 of them at once. And it's just the most beautiful thing ever. Yeah.
I feel like Trent Reznor has the most incredible room full of synthesizers.
Oh my God. Have you seen that video of him talking about his Voyager?
No.
Oh, it's so
great.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I need to go watch this.
Yeah, he's sitting in front of his Voyager. It's like black and blue looking, and he's just talking about it. Like, and I mean... That's like in the forefront, but he's in his room with all those other fucking synths. He's got a whole wall of Eurorack fucking modular synths.
Jesus.
Fucking gorgeous.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I used to think that I had it hard because I'm a guitar player and like collecting guitars is so expensive. But like collecting synths? I mean, shit. You could probably if you look at Trent Reznor's room, you could probably take half that stuff and buy yourself a mansion.
Yeah. Last year I spent like $6,500 on synthesizers, and I mean, I bought a couple compressors and things, but like mostly analog synths.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Synthesizer, compressor. Those are like 2 immediate turned on words.
Yeah.
Say that around us. Just
Drum machine, synth, compressor, preamp.
oh goodness.
Oh god.
Oh,
Tube.
goodness. Tube. That's across the board. You say tube, and somehow at some point across the board, someone's getting turned on.
Yeah.
Totally different meanings, but tube.
Yeah.
So, mumble rap.
mumble rap. What about it?
How do you feel about it?
I like some of it.
Why?
Because if it feels good, I like it.
Well, couldn't they just fucking take out the mumbling and leave the track then?
Nah, man, because they're manipulating the auto-tune. That's like kind of part of the way it sounds. Like, I'm not like a huge fan of mumble rap, and I don't listen to it on the daily, but like, I do enjoy it sometimes. I used to fucking hate it. I used to be a rap hater. I used to hate like any style of genre that I didn't like, and there's a lot of people like this who like don't consider it like basically like they think rap died with Pac.
Why?
Or like M,
no.
or like the Black Album, Jay-Z or whatever.
No.
And I don't even know if that kind of person exists anymore. Maybe they do, but I know there's old heads always hating on mumble rap, and I'm not mad at it. You know, I'm not mad at it. I think it's its own thing. I don't like that every song tends to go, you know, just like triplets the entire song, every song, and it's just like, well, I mean, you can use that flow whenever you want, but why all the time? You know, like creativity, like. But I suppose you could even narrow it down deeper than that, right? And go within the nuances of that specific flow. I just think the better part of a decade is a bit obsessive. You know?
Sure, absolutely. So fucking with the auto-tune, mumble rap, and this is how I feel. And you know, I could totally be wrong here, but if the essence that's appealing to you is the fact that they're fucking with the auto-tune and they're, you know, mumbling and making a sound, basically.
Yeah, they're making a sound.
Why are the people rapping getting credit? Why are they the stars? Shouldn't the person producing the track and this and that? I'm not saying that they don't produce their own tracks, but the handful that are just walking around and just mumbling in a microphone.
Well, sure, but I mean, they're still performing. They're still working. It's still their energy, you know?
Is an image.
Yeah, it could be their image. It could be their specific energy. Some people are stars regardless of what they do.
Okay.
You know? It's like some people like walk out in the street, take a shit, and they're famous. You know? And other people are super duper talented and stars for like that reason. But, you know, energy is something we don't know what's going to make somebody successful, you know, aside from the basic things, you know, like dedication.
But purely musically, like forget the fame and the fortune, the success being determined by like, you know, your fans and your money. Like, would you classify them as people that are musicians that are?
A lot of the times they are, and they choose to mumble rap.
What you're saying is most of the time they're not exposing the other sides of them. They're choosing this one way because it might make them successful?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mumble rappers out there who are nasty. I've heard, I couldn't name anybody off the top of my head because I don't like really listen to it that much, so I'm not like heavy into them. But I've seen interviews on like Breakfast Club and other places like that where they'll have a mumble rapper on and he'll be going in, man. And I'm like, this dude knows how to rap. Like, he's mumble rapping on purpose, you know? It's not like because he sucks.
Okay.
You know? And like, there's other guys like, you know that Tekashi 6ix9ine dude?
Yeah. Yes. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know if his time is over now because he might be going to prison or something. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I saw him last year do like just on fucking YouTube or whatever. And I wasn't into the style of music, but like, goddamn, that dude had fucking power. He had energy. He had it going. You know, he had it going on, and he fucked it up with his whatever crimes he was committing or whatever, or the people he was around.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate all the things you said because before the things you said, I absolutely hate mumble rap. I have no respect. I had no respect for it.
Yeah.
I think it takes absolutely no skill. I think it's posing bullshit. I think it's an image. I think it doesn't take any talent. I thought it, and I really do. It pisses me off. Rap, message. I mean, and that's not just rap. Like,
but that's a different style of rap.
Well, see, every genre
Like,
has their quote unquote mumble rap, or that kind of like thing. The people that are just found a way to succeed in it.
Yeah.
And for me as a musician, I mean, I've said it before. I'm a hard ass. I'm a fucking hard ass. I'm all about do it right, get it together. Really hit your fucking notes. Really do your stuff. Like, don't fuck around. You're gonna call yourself professional. Act like it. And where's your skill? Where's your practice? Where's the years you put in? Where's your talent? Where's your creativity? And maybe that's too harsh and it's blinded me. I have no doubt that it has on multiple occasions. I'm really happy you said the things that you did, because I feel like I definitely felt for the first time I saw things a little differently. And I think you're right. I think we don't know those people. I think maybe, they definitely probably choose to mumble rap because it can get them where they'd like to be. But here's my argument.
Mumble rap is kind of like pop for rap right now,
But see, my issue with that is like they can use that to get where they want to be.
It's the most simple way I could say it.
No, I like that. I think it's very true, because it totally is. It's the popular version of rap right now.
Yeah.
But they're using that to get where they want to be, and that basically means the money, the fame, and the image is more important than the music, is what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong for hearing that?
I don't think you are. I couldn't tell you if it's true or not, but I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're definitely not wrong for feeling it.
Well, no, I'm definitely not, but...
Yeah, because, it's a feeling.
Like, if there's one thing I've learned in...
Another thing, turning out, a lot of people mistake autotune for mumble rap also.
That's a totally different thing.
It is, but, a lot of people hear autotune, and it's kind of, garbly or whatever, but it's like... I kind of relate that specific thing to people screaming in metal.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
I have
Perfect
a friend
fucking example
who can hear every word of a screamer.
What?
Like, he just knows what the fuck they're saying, because he's tuned into the way they talk, and he does it sometimes, but he's not heavy into it, but he knows how they talk. And so he can hear it. And I remember the first time I was sitting in my car in Emeryville, and I was listening to, I don't know, it was I think it was called it was a Rick Ross and Lil Wayne song called Karate, I think. I don't know, I don't remember, but I really tuned into the flow and the words at one point, because I actually you really commit to listening to it, and it just opens up a whole different world. It opens up a whole different world, and it made me feel rich listening to it, the way it sounded once I tuned in the right way. It sounded wonderful.
It's almost like one of the positive sides to it is it's forcing you to commit or not commit to listening.
Absolutely.
I fucking dig that. That's a badass. That's a fucking great view right there.
Absolutely. Is it our fault or theirs?
See, that's and you can't answer that unless you even they could sit there and talk about it all day, but until someone exposes themselves on multiple different levels, you're just never gonna know. Yeah. And I think
you might not ever know, and you might not ever be exposed to people because you're only one kind of way.
Yeah, and that's why if there's one thing I've learned, being a musician and working with different types of people and meeting, especially with the podcast, meeting so many different people, is I have these strong feelings that I really stand by, but more often than not, someone will say something like what you just said, and I'm like, oh wait, hold up, maybe I've been looking at this a little too blindly. Maybe this tunnel vision's getting in the way. I thought I was looking at it the right way, but don't get me wrong, I'm not into it.
I'm not trying.
I'm in disgust of the image and that stuff. The same way people look at metalheads and the way they mosh, and they're like, "Ew, you fucking psychos." I'm not a big mosher anymore, but yeah, I get it. Everyone has their scene. Everyone has to find their place. That's what music does.
I just don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, that shit's ridiculous.
It's fun, but
I'm only 25, and I feel like a 90-year-old dude at concerts. I'm just I just want to sit in the back and listen to the music and go
put on some of those eargasm earplugs.
The only time I want to get up front is when I'm really trying to look at the gear, and you're just fucking that up for me. So I'm just gonna leave, go to YouTube. But so autotune on the other side of things. So mumble rap, and you have your autotune. Autotune, I feel has not released, but led into this whiny aspect.
There is emo rap.
Emo rap. That's beautifully put.
I mean, it's a legitimate genre of rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, what?
I don't listen to it.
I don't know. For me, rap is like, and this one of those things where like it could be tunnel vision, but for me, rap is so much about it, like, you know, accepting and praising the reality. Yeah, like rap is a praising.
It's about
music.
your fucking balls.
Yes.
You know, like that's what rap's about for me.
It's fucking having balls.
It's about your balls. Like the emo stuff. I like. Again, I'm not gonna hate on anybody for doing their thing, but I'm not gonna like listen to it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like you can just take that genre away. People feel that, but for me, like,
likes it.
Like, I wish. I don't know. I feel like for every scenario, for every message you're speaking, like that McAllen. This shit's bomb, huh? For every scenario,
everything on this table's aged 12 years.
Ooh. Even me.
Even you. Wow. Hey-o.
But for it's like, especially like take rap or take any message, any vocal message, especially in a rap song, it can, no matter what the topic is, I feel like there's going to be a ballsy side and there's going to be the emo side. And you get to pick. Mm-hmm. I think that's a conscious choice. Like, you can take a feeling that is like very emotional and something that's so depressing, and you can rap with balls. It's been done time and time again. For me, that's necessary. That's as important to me as picking up your guitar and knowing your shit and playing the right notes and fucking not, you know, muting half the notes when you play a chord. Like, it's as crucial as a technique, in my opinion. Because when you say I'm a rapper, it means all these people before you, the rap genre is about praising the acceptance of what's happening. And I've said it before on this, it's praising your acceptance of your life and saying that takes balls.
Yeah.
Praising it isn't whining it. That's a totally different feel for me. And
absolutely.
like I said, could be a tunnel vision thing, but I feel like there's a conscious choice in every message. You can go one or, you know, there's definitely options in which ways to handle it.
I've whined on record before, but never on purpose.
Well, I don't mean whine like complain. Yeah, I mean literally whine.
Oh, like cry like a bitch?
Yeah, because there's a lot of crying like a bitch out there.
Yeah. Let's move on to something. We're in a territory that I couldn't even talk to you about.
Why is that?
Oh, I've never heard it.
Oh, okay, you know? All right.
I listen to dudes with balls.
Oh, excuse me. Fucking dying over here. All right, let's talk about production.
Yes, sir.
Production
time. I love me some production.
What is the ultimate goal for a rap production? You're sitting down, you're making a rap song. What is the ultimate goal for the production of the song?
Be rich and famous for the rest of my life.
Rap. Defined. You heard it on the Studio Corner podcast. Write it down. Webster's Dictionary.
If you're not setting out to be rich and famous for the rest of your life on every single song you do.
Wow.
I'm kidding. 85%.
I mean, rap is, as much as it is a deep, expressive thing, you know, the materialistic aspect of life is a lot of where rap came from.
Sure.
And we can't deny that as quote-unquote shallow.
Well, I wouldn't call it where it came from, but where it...
it's an avenue
It's
of
definitely
expression.
been incorporated into it heavily.
Yeah, it's like a scene, you know?
Yeah.
It's like totally. Motley Crue wearing tight pants on a rock show, you know?
But then you look at like a motherfucker like Jay-Z, right? And his shit was all about being flashy. For the most part. He had some deep shit too. But like his shit was dope flow and flashy. And he's still a fucking legend, you know? Yeah. You know? Fucking Black Album. I mean...
Yeah.
Most of his albums, but Black Album, yeah. It's just... See, because you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm listening. Put it this way, right now you're my in this moment you're my expert on the rap world, so you got to tell me.
I'm trying to think of like a line or something. Okay, so there's one line off of, I think it was Volume 3. He goes, I spit that murderous every time a verbalist, iller than a verbal chemist, a road dog and menace, I meal start to finish, I rip apart contenders, I'm hot. And it's just like, it's not like saying nothing, but like, it's just like, I'm ill, this is sick, I'm hot. The flow is so dope on that shit, and I never not loved that. You know, I've never not
Yeah.
loved just like bragging about how dope your shit is if the flow's fucking fire.
So you said what was it with rap? It was feeling, flow, and what was the third one?
I think we got to make it 4 things: feeling, flow, message, and rhyme.
Okay, so those 4 things, having all 4 is like the fucking godsend, sure.
Yeah.
But if you have one of those things to perfection, it's good enough.
Yeah.
So there's definitely rap, like you just talked about. It's not saying anything. There's not really a message.
No, he's just like, I kill
But the
y'all.
flow, the rhyme, I mean, it's there. That feeling of just like, damn, I feel as badass as you're telling me you are.
Exactly. It makes you feel as dope as they feel.
And, you know,
Yeah.
they could talk about pussy and drugs all fucking day, but making you feel something that intensely, you can't tell me that music isn't like, one of its core values isn't that.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that.
You can't say you haven't like gone down the street. Most people who don't listen to rap haven't gone down the street one time in their life and gone, fuck the police. fuck the police. You know? Just like, and then rap like the first 4 lines of Ice Cube's verse and then not knowing any other ones, but
I couldn't even do that much.
But yeah, it's the feeling, man. It's the feeling is probably it might be the most important. I'm not sure, but it might be.
So how's the feeling different from the flow? Like the feeling is what you actually feel from it?
It's funny because like the feeling is not entirely dependent on the artist, right? Because that's subject. The flow is totally up to the artist. The rhyming is totally up to the artist. The messaging is 99% up to the artist. I mean, the interpretation is not, but the messaging is.
Yeah.
But the feeling is whatever you get
Interesting.
from it. So like the flow, the dope flow gives you the fire ass feeling for me.
Okay.
You know, like I just wrote something last night where I was listening today, learning it before I record it. So because I record it on my phone, and I was just like, God, this flow got me going. Like just like listening to it, just like fuck, I love this flow. Just like I love when I'm rapping, specifically for me. I love when I'm rapping, and if you're not listening carefully, like I might not be speaking English, but I am, you know. But if you're not listening,
a cool way to look at that.
If you're not listening carefully, it's like the words are so connected that it's hard to hear them.
But see, that tackles such an important part to music and art, any sort of art in general. That for me, one of the most important things is intention. So when you say that, it's like my intention is for you to commit to listening to what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And that alone, I mean, those 4 things are gonna almost come naturally. You know, to make someone feel the need to commit to what you're saying, only to discover that they're feeling something they never felt before, that's just fucking out of this world. Like when Jay-Z rapped that line, it's not a big thing, but damn, do you feel as badass as he is? Yeah.
Well,
you feel that.
Probably not quite as badass.
Yeah,
as he is.
but you feel fucking as badass as you can, but it's definitely a lot more than you usually feel.
Yeah.
Like there's intention behind that, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't write that verse because he wanted to brag to you. He wrote that verse
he was
because
just doing it.
because he's like, this is fucking badass shit. And when you listen, like, you know, I'm writing my music. This is the kind of music I'm doing. You know, when I write think of a shredding guitar player.
Yeah,
they don't just
absolutely.
shred. You know, there's a ton of shredders that just shred to show off, and no one gives a fuck because everyone can play fast. But then there's guitar
No one
players.
gives a fuck about a show off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they play these fucking fast, ripping solos that fucking have soul behind them, that mean something, damn, you feel as good as those notes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you feel like you're on stage looking out at 100,000 people with chills running down your fucking spine. Like, it's no different than a good rap verse. A good fucking, you know, few phrases.
It's no different at all.
It's the exact same thing.
I see that as like a guitarist with soul is infinitely better than a guitarist without.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can go, and a different guy could go, but the one guy with the soul goes, and everybody feels it in their stomach. You know?
Yeah, absolutely though. It's I mean, because it's so true. I mean, I talked about this with a guitar player on here. It's like every guitar player in the world could play the exact same note, and every single one of them would be different.
Most of them.
Just about,
you'd
feel them every single one of them a little different.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. You can play the same solo, and everyone's going to feel a little differently. Mm-hmm. You know, why was Stevie Ray Vaughan so incredible? And it wasn't...
He holds that one note right there just a little longer.
Yeah, it wasn't even the fact that he could play so fast, or he was so intense, and he was so crazy.
No, all those things are just the
soul.
tools to express the soul.
Yeah, and that's totally, you know, with the way rap works. It's like, you could literally say whatever you want, but who's saying it?
Yeah,
And how are they saying it to
absolutely.
you?
That's why I like Lil Wayne when he's like talking about. When Lil Wayne talk about killing bitches and shit, like, I mean, he also has other songs where he says shit like "beat odds, never beat women," but that's in a serious song,
Yeah.
you know. But in a different song, he goes, "And bitches too, they mention you, they dentures loose," you know, like don't give a fuck, you know. But it's like it's not about it's. He said it great. I love watching his interviews because he'll say shit like he's like, "I don't know." Like what you're talking about, what I said, but when I said it, you better believe that was it. Like that was real. That was the only thing. And his eyes get real big and shit.
Yeah. Because like a lot of people will argue that that's, you know, a little hypocritical. Like, how could you not stand by what you say? But like to be that, but as an artist, as a musician, to have that much conviction in a moment in the present and have that recorded. I mean, what did Quincy Jones say? Recording is not about the perfect track. It's about capturing a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're fucking doing that to the point where, like, what Lil Wayne just said, I mean, he could say a lot of bad shit. He may not mean it, but in that moment,
he fucking means it.
He may not be acting on it, but in that moment, he had so much conviction. It's like, shit, he may not be the best dude in the world. I don't know him personally. But shit, when I listen to that song, I feel fucking real.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, I mean, that was probably one of the best ways I've heard it described. It's like where, you know how like there was that whole thing a long time ago, probably like NWA days, where they're like, well, you're promoting violence and this blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, no, you're confusing art with reality.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're expressing our reality through our art. We're not telling people to go murder people. You know, we're not inciting violence. Like that's not.
We're expressing what we are experiencing.
Like I can't even think of a rapper I've heard actually incite violence. You know.
Well, that's like for me. Like, I get why people are so afraid of it, but, like, just take this for example. Someone writes an acoustic song about how heartbroken they are, about how their girlfriend cheated on them, and they're so fucking, real about it.
Upset and fucking raw. And, yeah.
With the similar attitude, you could say, oh, I don't like it because it's promoting cheating, it's promoting hurt, it's promoting pain. Like, bitch,
exactly.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I've never heard nobody say it like that.
Like,
That's
if you're not
great fucking argument.
If you're not expressing yourself at that level, then fuck off. I mean, you don't have to be that deep, but like, there's a sense of conviction, there's a sense of presence, there's a sense of moment.
That's delicious.
Oh, you like that, McAllen?
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. This is
my lifeblood, dude.
I was skeptical, but I'm not anymore.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? It's wild.
Yeah.
Shout out to McAllen.
Shout out to McAllen.
Let's see if we can get a McAllen sponsorship. Everybody that listens to this episode, I want you to go on Instagram, go on Facebook. I want you to send my page to the McAllen pages and say you need to sponsor the show.
If this microphone was a camera, you'd be looking directly at it right now.
Hold on. I'm going to take a picture of this and we're going to post this. Ready? There. That's an ad right there.
Yeah.
McAllen, sponsor us. We promise not to get drunk on the show.
We're not.
We'll have to promise McAllen because then we'll just be like,
Oh, no. Look, I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to catch a buzz, but I ain't finna get shitty.
Well, I hope you catch a buzz.
I've caught one.
That's good.
I've caught it in my mitt.
No, I've dealt with shitty people out here.
Yeah, well,
You learn your lessons.
some people
Some
are
people.
shitty.
You learn that the hard way
that.
sometimes.
Yeah, the more I grow through my life, the more I've had times where, and less so at the moment, but I've had times where I'm just so incredibly jaded and just so close to everybody after being burnt, by one or two people or one person or just nobody, just a general feeling of malaise and misanthropy. But I forgot my point.
Wow, I'm really upset because it felt real cool.
Wait, where did I start? I started at, through my life, I've been jaded.
A lot of shitty people.
I've been jaded by shitty people.
I like your air guitar.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm super stubborn. Oh, yeah, let me finish this real quick.
I'm all ears. I'm all ears here.
So So people are shitty. A lot of people are shitty, but most people aren't shitty. But yeah, I've gotten really good. The point was I've gotten really good in my life now at like just following that feeling. And there's some people who I like ride a line with who I don't know, like it's like I put faith in them and I don't know if they're going to fuck me over. Yeah. But like you got to have some amount of faith in people and
to get somewhere,
and they might surprise you.
Yeah.
You know? So that's one specific concept that I've grown to be able to balance more effectively.
What's your line with that though? I mean, how much faith do you give? Like how many times do they get to fuck up?
Well, fuck up is subjective, I suppose. Like
it's I mean, I feel like it's relevant to
I had a friend last
the amount
year,
of faith you give.
I had a friend last year, one of my old dear friends, but I was at a point where I was feeling just like fuck flakes, you know? And this dude flaked on me like 3 times in a row. And then I didn't talk to him for like a year until I ran into him, until like 3 months ago I saw him in a bar, you know? And then we started talking again, but this time it's like we restarted our relationship, but this time like I've gone in with far less expectation and attachment to what the outcome could be, because like I'm of the mind, I'm like, if I start something I finish it. If I make a beat, I'm gonna make a song. If I make a song, I'm gonna release it, you know, I'm gonna perform it. But you know, not everybody's like that, and if it's someone you love, you know, if it's someone you love, it's someone you love. And that's that. Fucking up, if it's someone I don't know that well or don't love, like 3
times.
3 times.
I mean, I guess that once again it depends on how big the fuck up is.
If I don't know them at all, once.
Yeah.
If they like fuck around the first time, I'll never talk to them again. You know.
Okay, so what about working with artists though? Because I like this topic. I really like this. Like, you work with other artists, right? Like, you help produce and whatnot. Like,
I'm working with a lot of people right now.
So when someone comes to you and says, "Hey, Mitch, I want you to produce my album. I want to rap and I want you to produce some tracks." Like, what are the fuck ups they're allowed to make?
Oh, that's all on them. If it's theirs, it's on them. You know, it's not ours.
Okay.
But like, that's also they're. I don't know what the fuck ups are. If you're not going to be where you say you're going to be. If you say you're going to be there and then you're not. That's the fuck up. I don't care if we don't see each other for a month.
Yeah.
You know? But if you say you're going to be there and you're not.
What about showing up to the occasion? What if someone says like, "Hey, Mitch, I want you to produce my album. I want to co-write." Like, "Hey, I want to show up for writing session." They show up for writing session. You guys write. All right, next Sunday we're going to sit down and we're going to record. I show up and I don't know my part. I didn't practice at all.
It's different with rappers, man, because you can get in a booth and read and perform. And who's to say, like, as long as the take is good, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what they did as long as, like, they get it. But then I guess the fuck up where it would be the limit for me is, like, if I'm investing time in you.
Yeah.
If I'm investing time in you and you're not paying me just, like, vast sums of money, you know, like, you better be as dedicated to it as I am. If I'm putting in production, if I'm making beats with you, if I'm giving my life to you, or you know, but like it's hard too, because it's like I could write you off, but I just take all the fucking beats I made for you. Yeah. You know, like, just all I want is like, you know, dedication and commitment.
Some sort of work ethic too.
Work ethic, yeah. Like, if something's for you, the royal you. Like, you better be dedicated to it, because why the fuck should I care? You know, because I care about, and it's crazy because I do, because I give a fuck that much about making music that, like, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fucking make beats, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll fucking rap on it with you if you need to fill a spot. I'll fucking do whatever you want. But yeah, just do what you say you're gonna do.
Well said. I like it. I mean, like I said, I'm a hard ass. I don't play well with others when it comes to projects. I think showing up is 99% of the battle. 99% of the battle, you show up.
If a motherfucker shows up, like I
It's
already like him.
Yeah, it's like if you say you're gonna be here, for me, like you showed up 10 minutes early today.
Yeah, I was gonna wait in my car and I was gonna text you 5 minutes early because I'm like I ain't trying to show up too early.
I do the same shit though.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate that more than anything. Like, even like studio sessions or working with someone or like practice or like we say a time, like rescheduling is fine. Like shit happens. Don't get me wrong. But don't do it an hour before. If you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, you show up, maybe like a few minutes early. Like for me, when I say like, say we're working in the studio and like, hey, I want to start this session at 7 p.m. Like I'm showing up at 6:30. I'm bringing my stuff in. I'm going to have everything ready. So when 7 p.m. hits, I'm doing the session. Like it's happening. And 6:30 to 7 is my time, not yours. Yeah. Like I'm like, I don't expect anything. I need to be ready to do that. Like I think an important part of the music industry and just any sort of collaboration, any sort of work, any sort of project is knowing what your role is, knowing what your job is, and knowing that you have to execute that job in the time that you said you're going to. So what does it require outside that time? And
yeah,
I feel
what
like
kind of preparation?
A lot of musicians don't think about what that means outside of that time.
Oh yeah, I got home from work today and the whole time I was at home, I ate something, I took a shower, and then the rest of the time I was just preparing. I was preparing my mind. I was like how am I going to present myself? I know they ain't finna see me, like we're not like recording a camera, but I still have to show up as Motzaik. I cannot show up in fucking like sweatpants.
Yeah.
Unless they're like hella nice sweatpants.
I mean, they are very nice sweatpants.
There are
very nice sweatpants.
I have a nice pair. I have a pair of sweatpants that I was like thinking about coming in because they are nice, but like they weren't nice enough.
Well, I appreciate you dressing up for me.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Excuse me. I'm coughing and dying.
Yes.
That's good. Yes. I just quit hookah after 10 years, so.
Oh, you did?
Cold turkey.
Oh, is it a problem?
No, actually. I've read a lot of things about it being addicting and, this and that.
Nicotine's supposedly addicting.
But there's like such little nicotine in it.
Yeah.
And like for me, it was a habitual thing.
Just doing it because it's fun?
It's just like what I did. And like making hookah is a lot more than smoking a cigarette. Like you got to put the coals on, you got to pack the bowl.
It's a
like,
ritual.
You sit down and like I worked when I smoked. Like it's not like I didn't, at least at the time.
This almost looks like a hookah.
Kind of, yeah. That thing almost looks like it. But I did it. I've been smoking it for 10 years. And it got to the point like where I was smoking like 3 bowls a day by myself. Like that's a lot of smoke.
I would throw up so hard.
I just smoked that shit all day, and then I just was at the gym like a few weeks ago. It was my girlfriend and my mother's birthday on April 25th. And I woke up, I was at the gym, and I was like, man, I'm just tired of this shit. Went home and just dumped everything.
April 25th, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just have not thought about it. I haven't craved it at all. I'm like, that's pretty good. I've met a lot of people, I smoked a lot of hookah with a lot of people. They just have issue with it. So, but I quit and then I get sick. And so I'm like coughing up stuff and like, all this stuff. I'm like, what is happening to me? Isn't this supposed to happen when you are smoking? I feel like I got the shit under the stick there.
It could be your body like dealing with the withdrawal.
That's a good point.
Like even if you're not mentally addicted to it, your body could have a thing,
It's like, oh God, we're not getting our fix. Like just
even if your mind is like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Like you could still have physical withdrawals.
That's true. That makes sense.
Like people like if people who are heavy drinkers or heavy heroin users or things like that, if they stop cold turkey, they could die.
Well, I don't think I'm going to die, but yeah.
No, you'll be fine.
It's just hookah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where the coughing's coming from.
Yeah,
I got a show this Saturday,
too. Yeah, it's coughing
too.
up your I'm finna be there. What time is it? What time are you going on?
I'm playing from 8 to 11. It's 3 hours.
You're playing a 3-hour set?
I'm doing 3 sets, about 10-minute breaks in between. I'm fucking rocking and rolling, all originals.
So like 50-minute sets?
About like 45-minute sets, 40-minute sets.
How many?
10 songs a set.
Are they all different songs?
All different songs. Every single one of them is an original song.
Wow.
Be prepared to have your mind blown.
I am. What? We need to put a show together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should write some shit together.
Absolutely.
Some fucking guitar and rap, man. We used to do that back in the day.
Yeah, we did. We did that a lot.
That was a fucking good time. That was a great fucking time.
And you singing, rapping, it doesn't matter. You know, like as far as like, and I can play instruments now.
Speaking of instruments, dude, you play the fucking violin.
Not very well.
But you have like fucking 12 violins.
Yeah. I've got like 7.
Okay, well when they're hanging up on the wall, they look like 12.
I know it looks like too many violins, right? It's like how many
So when
people?
did you start playing violin?
I started 3 years ago.
Started 3 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
And you were already a rapper at that point. Like you were already rapping and doing that kind of hip hop.
Yeah.
How did the violin fall into place?
I've always wanted to play the violin since.
Do you use it in your productions?
I didn't use it any on this last album, but I will. I'm writing a song right now with it because my violin tutor, actually like charged me to. She's like, "All right, I want you to make a chord progression with these chords in this key, and I need you to just write violin parts over it." Like that's like her assignment for me for these 2 weeks, and so yeah, that's happening there. But I've been playing for 2.5 years. I'm not very good at it. I've taken a lot of time off. In those 2.5 years, I was in a serious dirt bike crash and broke my collarbone and my knee and couldn't do shit. And then I broke my collarbone fucking twice last year.
Twice?
Fucking
in
twice.
1 year?
And that really put a damper on the violin practice. And then in my first year, I went to the Bay for a month and subletted a room and worked at this restaurant where like it was just all day every day working at a restaurant 6 days a week. I didn't practice at all that month. And I've been playing for 2.5 years, but I've had enormous gaps, and when I was finishing my album, like I took 3 months off basically just to produce it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't focus on anything else.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see you start putting more violin. I feel like that'd be so fucking cool.
I'm back at it. I'm back heavy on it again. It's so hard.
Yeah, I've heard.
I can't imagine a more difficult instrument. But
It's up there.
I've always wanted to fucking play since I was a little kid, and I was too much of a pussy when I was like 4 years old to ask my parents. I said I want a fiddle or a guitar, and they got me a guitar because they didn't listen to the first thing I said.
Well, what kind of kid wants a fiddle?
One who wants a fiddle. I don't know.
I mean, parents hear guitar, fiddle, they're gonna go with the guitar. It's like
probably because guitars don't sound as terrible for as long. You know,
maybe
I still, when I'm learning new techniques and trying to do new things on it, I sound terrible. Fucking terrible. And so if anybody can hear me, every once in a while I drop in shit I can do so that like they know that like I'm not a total piece of shit. You know? But fuck, where did it go? Where did it fucking go?
I don't know. You're talking about the violin.
I love it. It's my like it's so dear to my heart. Fucking if you've ever listened to, I mean, there's so much good shit out there. Fucking Bach has so much.
Bach is heavy metal.
Good violin music. Yeah, classical, Baroque, or classical and Baroque are like definitely metal. Fucking Paganini is my probably top 3 favorite artist of all time. You know, fucking. There's no, like, I can't think of harder violin music.
This is pretty awesome. Someone that's so deep into the rap hip hop world and then talking about classical fucking
Oh yeah, man.
violin. I mean,
I'm a musician
spectrum
first.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But this is like just gold to me. This is such gold to me.
Oh, cool.
And I feel like that really, I mean, the ability to listen to such different types of music with such passion really kind of opens up that creativity, the ability to see way beyond one genre, one concept, really produce to another level, create to another level. And I dig that. I fucking love it. I feel like it's going to force you to see things a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
It's not about what kind of genre am I trying to do, but what am I actually trying to do?
Yeah. And it's not all about rap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I rap and I love it. But I imagine there'll be a time when I just like make a classical music.
Fuck yeah.
Give me 10 or so years. But I want to, like I go that way. I hear a lot of music in violin in my head. That's part of the reason I want to play it so much, is because there's things in my head that I hear that I'm like, I need to be able to put this down.
You hear strings a lot, huh?
I hear a lot of violin in my head. Yeah.
Rock and roll, man.
Fuck yeah.
It's like the fucking shredding guitar of the classical world.
It's I mean, I can't think, like I've had times where I'm so fucking into it. There's this violin, so fucking old. I think there's two great violin makers by the name Amati, their last name.
Okay.
The first one, I don't know if it's Niccolo or the other one. I can't remember his name. But the first one made this violin. It's like late 1500s, one of the earliest violins to like have the shape of a violin, the modern shape of a violin. So it's like, I think it's late 1500s, and it was made for like a princess or a queen or some royal marriage. And I was watching this documentary on my phone. On my phone, not this phone. This phone's got fucking like stereo sound and shit. Just on the phone that I had at the time, I'm watching this documentary, and he plays like 5 notes. This dude plays like 5 notes on this violin, and I start crying. I just start bawling for like 5 minutes. I bawled for 5 minutes listening to this fucking violin through my phone, and no other. And that's why like violins like that are like millions and millions of dollars.
This is one of the original ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was so deep and so beautiful.
That good, huh?
Yeah, it's making me cry right now.
You're going to have to send this to me.
It's the most beautiful violin I've ever heard. And the same guy, he was a master violinist.
Yeah.
And I heard him play a bunch of different things, I think, during that documentary. But that one, just like... It was just like whatever he played, and it was like 30 seconds, click, tears. Like
just so much to take in.
It comes down to the same thing, right? It's like people say all the time, like, well, like, is the violin or the fucking player? It's like, well, it's the player, but it's also the violin. A great player can play any violin great, but a great player can play a great violin
and destroy your entire universe.
Your life. Yeah, and
it's
destroy
over.
Your life.
You know what? One, I think I've said it on here before, but the beginning of "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, David Gilmour's acoustic guitar, that recorded acoustic guitar, that sound is, in my opinion, the greatest recorded acoustic guitar ever in the history of music.
I can hear it.
It's not only the most frustrating thing I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
Because nothing will ever be that good, and I will spend my life trying to come half as fucking just half
Close.
that.
I've had that feeling.
But it's also, I mean, that first slide, that you can hear the pick touch the string. You hear the pick touch the string. His fingers slide against it.
You're in the fucking room with it.
It fucking rips you completely to shreds, and it's such a powerful, and it's just the most simple thing ever. But it's just, I totally get that. It's just one of those things where you give a great player a great instrument, a fucking whatever they were using in the studio at that time.
Luthier.
Oh man, it's unmatchable. Yeah, I got the chills right now just thinking about it. I'm gonna be angry in a minute about it, but
I think that all the time. I hear rap that sometimes I hear a rapper do something and I'm like, I quit.
Yep. Are you kidding? You know what it's like being a guitar player? You go on Instagram, you find like a fucking 12-year-old Chinese girl that does everything that you dreamed of doing in a lifetime, maybe.
No matter how good you are, there will always be an Asian better than you.
Yeah. Well, those little it's always a little Chinese girl on on Instagram. Like, they're incredible. I mean, I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I support it 1,000%. It's empty, don't worry. 1,000%. Like, I love singing Andre Strains. There's this little blues guy. I forgot his name. He's all over Instagram. Guitar Center just started sponsoring him a few years ago. His kid's got to be like 14 years old, and he's just a blues player. He's a little white kid, blues player. But man, does he fucking play the blues.
If he's got soul.
He blows my fucking mind.
If he's got soul.
And don't get me wrong, it's not like he's playing anything crazy. It's not like he's this virtuoso. But shit, when the kid plays guitar, you're listening to fucking blues guitar. Like, you would never guess it. I love that we live in a time. Like, when I was a kid and I could play guitar, everyone was like, oh my God, this kid's unreal. I've never seen anything like him. And I felt like I was amazing. Like, I love what I do. But now that I'm 25 and looking at the kids that are my age from all around the world, doesn't matter what ethnicity they are, all around the world, these kids are picking up instruments and playing like I'm playing after 20 years of playing. And it's like, at the same time, it's like shit, but also it's the most motivating thing I've ever seen, because it's like think about it, they're literally the future of music, and they're about to dominate everything we've ever done.
Well, look, this is the problem, and the blessing and the curse of the internet is that these people were always out there. But now we know.
Wow.
You know?
They've always been out there.
There's always been prodigies and virtuosos.
Well, don't you think that the internet has inspired? That's really good whiskey, by the way. Is that bourbon?
Yeah. Take a minute to feel it in the top of your palate and up in your sinuses. It definitely just popped up there for me.
That is beautiful.
That's the best it's tasted since I've opened the bottle. That's really good.
It's because you had Macallan before.
Probably.
Worked your way up.
Had to. The first half of this bottle, which is where we're at, I've been drinking it for about a week. I pretty much specifically drink whiskey and mead that I make, and my friend makes. We make mead.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
Dude, have you ever had mead?
I don't think I have.
It's so good. I'll give you a bottle.
I look forward to this.
It tasted like a better Jack Daniels all week, and that really disappointed me because it's like fucking expensive. But just now it showed me why it is expensive.
It's very good.
I'm happy for that.
It's interesting that it tastes different after that much time.
Yeah, well, I knew that too because of the last bottle that I bought called Old Forester, this bourbon that's really, really good. Ooh. But the first quarter of the bottle, I just wasn't like, it was too hot. I couldn't find the nuance. I couldn't find the nuance that the internet was talking about, basically. But then about halfway through the bottle again, I was just like, oh my God, this is like one of my favorite fucking whiskeys. It's so good.
Damn, I got to come over and just write down a fucking list of whiskeys that I got to try from you.
Well, you know what I want to do is put together a whiskey tasting, like at the ranch, at the whistle stop around a campfire, and have just like, 15 fine whiskeys and get 20 people or so around and just do that.
That sounds pretty fucking awesome.
That sounds pretty fucking great, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make people study up on their whiskey.
Yeah. Well, like, it's because I want more people to appreciate it with.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like I love drinking,
but you don't want to share your good bottle with someone that's not going to appreciate it. They're just...
Absolutely.
I know that feeling.
That's why it's like I give it to my girlfriend, but it still kind of hurts because she doesn't appreciate it.
You're like, I should just give you whatever.
Yeah. I need to keep a $40 bottle of Basil Hayden in the cabinet for her, basically. It's good whiskey, but it's not complex.
It's not going to hurt you giving it away.
No, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
I've gone through dozens of those bottles.
All right, so before we go, I want to talk to you about production a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm really curious.
We were going to do that.
Yeah, we went off on a... I liked where we went, though. We got real deep on the fucking violin and, feelings, and I love that shit.
Yeah, I cried a little.
Yeah. I need to hear this fucking this video you're talking about, this violin.
Oh, the dude. Yeah.
We're going to have to do this afterwards.
I mean, it's not about him. It's about the violin in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So production, switching back to the whole rap, hip-hop side of things, I said this. What is the ultimate goal for a production behind a rap, in your opinion?
That's kind of vague. I don't really know what you mean.
So like, what's the track's purpose?
Oh, to be. Sometimes I'm going for a sound. Sometimes I'm going. Usually I'm going for like how do I make the best thing I can make?
Okay.
That's how I feel. It's like, how can it be as dope as it could possibly be?
Okay.
You know? Last night, I'll show you this beat that I'm talking about, the one that I wrote. I wrote this beat, and I wrote a whole fucking song last night. It felt great. I wrote a beat and the verses for it. And last night I was showing my girlfriend on my phone, and she, like, the first word out of her mouth was like, "Oh, sexy." And like, I'm like, great. The beat was sexy.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if the beat's sexy, the beat's sexy, you know? And that was the fucking goal. I mean, the ultimate goal for me is to look into the crowd and see people having sex.
Okay, so for you specifically, it's about that sexual, animalistic, you know, that...
It doesn't, I mean, like, not necessarily sexual, but I do want to see that more than anything.
Okay.
Like, I don't
It's not talking about sex, but it's about this feeling that just makes you feel primal.
Yeah. I want to, like, I remember there's this group called Death Grips, and I remember this video from, I think they're a Oakland-based group or a Bay Area-based group. I'm not sure. I know they've played a lot in Oakland. I lived at a house they played at once.
Oh, sick.
I wasn't there at the time, but there was like, it was too many people for this house. It was like 400 people showed up.
Oh, Jesus.
They were like just blowing up or something. So the story goes. But I watched this video of this dude on stage, and the dude was like, he was a fucking ape. He was like up on stage, and he's just huge, long fucking arms, and he looked like a fucking gorilla on stage, or a chimpanzee, just like, and the crowd was just like so in it, and somebody jumped up on stage and he just fucking threw them off.
Oh,
and
man,
like,
I love it.
Like, shit was going crazy. He like, and like, it helps that he was huge and like just probably just a beautiful specimen, you know, of a human. but that video has always stuck with me. And that kind of feeling, that's just like dirty fucking down in the ground fucking feeling of just, just grime.
Hell yeah.
Fucking grimy. Grimy is probably one of my top 5 favorite feelings for a beat. Just fucking grimy.
A grimy
fucking
beat.
Nasty. Yeah, fucking, like, I make so many beats that are nasty, and I try to give them to rappers, and motherfuckers are just like, I don't know how to rap on this. And I'm just like, all right, fuck you, I'm gonna rap on it. Like, I'm nasty, I'll fucking do it, you know? And yeah. I don't know.
What's really interesting, because like the beat is such a huge fucking part of this whole genre. Yeah. Like, how do you decide?
I'm more of a producer than a rapper now.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, how do you decide like the tempo of a beat? Because the tempo of the beat is really going to define a lot of the message and the feeling and the flow. I mean, it's going to define like a lot of what's going on, right? Yeah. So, I mean, how do you decide the tempo? Are there certain tempos that, you know, imply that grimy feeling? Are there certain tempos that imply that angry feeling?
No. I've never felt that. I've watched videos and lots of things where people are like, well, typical trap music, they do it around 160 BPM and then they rap in halftime, you know, or whatever it is. And I'm just like, I don't fucking care what the tempo is. I'll never care what the fucking tempo is. I do a lot of my shit.
Do you ever notice a consistency in the tempo? In the different songs? Like, is there a range that is just naturally exposed itself?
For me?
Yeah.
I do pretty much 110 and below.
Okay.
I do a lot of shit at 100.
4/4?
Yeah, I've delved into 5/4 and 7/8 and 9/11 and, well, not 9/11, 11/8, 9/8. And I've done things like that, and I've rapped in ways like that before. it's not as fun though as 4/4. Truth be told, like
honestly, I think one of my favorite, especially I think for any music, rap included, is 6/8. I think 6/8 is one of the most natural feelings for the human body.
you think? Well, I mean 3/4, right?
6/8 more specifically.
Okay, why?
The eighth notes and the fact that almost a phrase, or you can call it a phrase or a line of music, isn't finished until 6 beats. It feels more natural. It's just something that I've noticed.
Yeah.
But I've always loved that. I've always moved easier. It's always...
So 6/8 than 4/4.
4/4, I mean, is not absolutely, but 6/8 has a special... It stands out without you realizing it stands out.
I agree. I agree with my top 3. It would be 4/4, 6/8, then 5/4.
Oh, 5. If people, I mean, 5/4 is not it's not as easy as the other
I
ones.
love
but if
rocking
you can
out to 5/4,
nail
man.
5/4, I mean, it physically moves you. 5/4 physically moves you.
It's got a fucking to it. Yeah.
Your shoulders pop up.
But
Your
then you
chest
get into
moves
like
forward.
crazy ones, right? You get into like 15/8 and fucking all kinds of different time signatures that are masturbatory.
Yeah.
You know, like jazz. It's all jazz.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. Like, I love it, but also I was like, what the hell's
like,
going on?
It's one cage into another clanking on these. Bars paint empty space in between them. Graffiti walls to claim our space in. Fight turf wars in prison playgrounds. I see a free world beyond the horizon. Don't be mad by the one we left. They'll hold on to every lie then. The only true way out is death. That's 5/4.
I mean, but it moves you, like,
But it's
as
got
much
a
as
rock to it. I
as
rocked
much
the
as
whole
it's not
time.
like a
Yeah.
consistent boom, 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 boom. Like I said, it physically moves you. Like it jolts you.
Yeah.
It jolts you and lets you cool down with the rest of the beats. Jolt and cool down. Jolt and cool down. Like, you can't not get into that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of time signatures that naturally approach the human physical being.
And it's interesting because it's like a lot of people count 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 or whatever, but like for when I was rapping that just now, I was doing this.
Yeah.
I was going 1 2 1 2. I was rocking back and forth. So like, yeah, music is beautiful like that, man.
It's pretty incredible how well, I mean, because it's so physical. I had a magician on here, professional magician, is a very good friend of mine named Tony Clark, and he talked about passion. He described passion in my favorite way. He said passion is a physical thing. He's like, everything you're passionate about is a physical feeling. No matter what it is, there's a physicality to it.
I heard that. Yeah.
And that I haven't stopped thinking about that since he said it. And right there, like the whole time signature thing, like it is so important to think of, especially in music, because it's like, what is the physicality of not only the song but the time signature? How is someone moving to this? Mm-hmm. And Alec Finn, another guest that I had, a really great producer, talked about. I asked him, like, what are the steps that you take when it comes to, like, how do you work with an artist? What do you ask them? Like, what do you work on to make the song great? He's like, I always ask them, how do you want someone to move to the song?
Yeah.
And I'm like, time signature has so much to do with that, the physicality, the passion behind it. Like, what is your body doing before your brain comprehends what's going on? Like that right there. That's just like a secret world that we just have spend so much time trying to tap into. Mm-hmm. Fucking pimp. I mean, what better way to do it than hip hop and rap? That's fucking beat. I heard your beads on that one.
Oh yeah,
beads shaking on that one.
They shook, man. These beads were white when I bought them, but the oils from this one turned them this color.
The oils?
Yeah, the oils in these beads turned these beads kind of like beige-ish off-white.
It looks cool.
Yeah, they look great. These have a smell, and they've always had a smell. It's amazing.
I'm glad you enjoy the smell. It would suck if you didn't like them.
Oh no, man! I've meditated on these probably thousands of times.
Ooh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I haven't meditated in a long time. I don't do it a lot anymore, but I still wear the beads.
The beads look good. It's a good look. I like it.
I like the beads.
I dig it. It's better than a big gold chain, I think.
This is my chain.
It looks better.
Yeah.
I think it matches you more. Anyway, well, any final words, any advice for anybody out there trying to get in the hip hop world, whether they're producing or rapping? I mean, what are like 3 things you would say are a must?
Don't be a pussy.
Thank God.
You know, don't lie.
Don't lie. Don't be a pussy.
Don't. And when I say don't lie, I mean be where you're gonna say you're gonna be. Do what you say you're gonna do. If you say you're a musician, make music every single day. Because motherfuckers who don't, I mean, like, y'all motherfuckers ain't musicians. Like, I mean, look, not every single day if you can't, obviously, but every time you can, you do.
It's what you choose.
Yes, it's what you choose. Over if you're gonna smoke a blunt, make music. If you're gonna get wasted, make music. If you're gonna fucking, you know, have bitches over, make music, kick them to the side. Who cares? Make music.
Make music naked.
Make music naked.
With 'em.
Fuck it. Try not to get like juices and shit on your equipment, or like I had one dude get hella sweaty on my headphones, and I love him. I love the dude.
God, I hate that.
I love the dude,
hate
but
that shit.
but like to this day, I still need to buy new headphones.
No, I've had guys get sweaty on my guitars, and like the acoustic ones, like it'll get like a little section will be start to get sticky and crusty, and I gotta like wipe those fuckers down.
Oh, and don't let motherfuckers use your gear if you determine they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's a very good piece of advice. This is more than 3, but I like this. I mean,
Sorry.
You don't have to stop. No, don't stop, because everything you said, I'm on board with. I am so on board with.
Like, you've got shit that you've invested your time and your money into and your life into, and some motherfucker's gonna come touch it with their grimy fucking fingers.
And not the good kind of grimy.
I don't let anybody touch my fucking violin at all, but if I did, they would have to wash their hands first.
Oh, absolutely.
My drum machine, if they know their way around a studio and I can tell they're not assholes, they can use it. You know? That's it, I guess. That's it. Yeah.
I think those were all fucking great. I love those. I'm so on board with those.
Yeah.
Any final words?
No.
No. I like that. You said everything you need to say. Well, dude, thanks for coming on. This has been the Studio Corner with Mitch Motzaik.
God damn it.
Hitting the fucking microphone.
The fucking microphone.
It's all good.
I hate when I do that during a good take. I'm just like, boom. Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's true, huh?
But then, you know, you can hear it in the recording, and you're like, oh, fuck it, I'll keep it. I don't care.
It's like,
I'll just cut out more low end. I don't care.
All right, this has been spectacular, man. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. Nice handshake.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for all the whiskey.
Oh, of course.
Rock and roll.
Thank you for the whiskey.
Peace out.
Peace.